Hey folks, all doing? Here with None here with your Mundus Minute on January 28th, 2022. ESO news, lecture merchant, and gold merchant stuff, all in a few minutes. So first up in the news, well, before we get to the big one, let's first discuss that the Daedric War Celebration in-game event is still going on. It will be going on until February 1st at 10 a.m. Eastern. Make sure to go into Somerset, Morrowind, Clockwork City to get your daily event tickets, and also to get extra coffers, more loot from treasure boxes, safe boxes, etc. Doing geysers, a whole bunch of motifs to get, a chance at a pet, and a whole lot of other things as well. So again, February 1st at 10 a.m. Eastern. Now, for the big news. If you've been living under a rock, haven't been watching Twitter, YouTube, or Twitch, ZOS has announced the next chapter for Elder Scrolls Online will be High Isle, which is going to be the legacy of the Bretons. This is going to be started off with Ascending Tide Dungeon DLC, which will be on PTS on Monday. It'll have a free prologue quest somewhere probably around in May, before the June launch of High Isle chapter. And we'll have a dungeon DLC later in the year, another prologue quest for the story DLC, and at the end of the year, another story DLC. All good stuff to see. But with this, we're going to get a new system. It's going to be a new collectible card game, mini game inside the game called Tales of Tribute. We're also going to get 2 new companions, a Breton, and finally a Khajiit. A whole bunch of new item sets and weapon sets. I'll leave a link down below for you to take a look at. A new full trial coming with a chapter, and a whole lot of other changes as well. In addition to that, there's also going to be changes to the combat system with update 33 and over the year. Basically, they're doing more hybridization. They're making it so a lot of the abilities are going to be working off your higher weapon damage or spell damage stat. And honestly, it kind of feels like they're going to be combining some of these stats into one, possibly to add in more stats later on. We'll see. Honestly, right now it's like you have weapon damage and spell damage, you have weapon critical, spell critical, melee penetration, and magical penetration. That's probably all going to be combined at some point here, because if you take a look at the sets right now, both are giving both stats, and now we have this change where it's all going off the higher stat. So maybe we're going to see just a damage stat, a penetration stat, and a critical stat in the future, which will free up room for other stats. Who knows? There's a lot of speculation on the forums, but there's way too much information for me to get into in just a short little news clip like this. Anyway, I'll leave a link down below for that. Hopefully you all will read it. Let us take a look at the Luxury Merchant and the Golden Merchant for this week. So first up on the Luxury Merchant, a bunch of clockwork stuff. Switches, arrays, globe stands, all jars, short jars, and a door. The door is probably the one I'd recommend getting the most. If you're trying to separate off areas in your house, this actually can open and close however you choose. Switch is also kind of nice because you can activate it and deactivate it, but it doesn't really connect to anything, you know? The Ori is kind of nice as well with the size it has, but really, the door is something I would recommend picking up if you don't have it already. Now, on the Golden Merchant for this week, for 150k, Ring of Mother's Sorrow. I would recommend this normally. However, if you can probably buy a blue version of this out on vendors, and if you really want to get with meta stuff on this, you probably want it Bloodthirsty. You probably want it with some other trait than Arcane, so you might not want to pick this up. Up to you if you do or don't, but my recommendation might be to hold off unless you have the money to burn and I don't know, maybe you want to burn the transmutation gems as well, but if you have enough Mother Sorrows pieces, it's easy to sum this back up under 50 gems with bloodthirsty, or infused. Also on sale, Ring of the Night Mother. I actually do recommend this set, but getting a gold version is just overkill. But the reason I recommend this set is if you're trying to do any type of pickpocketing, thieving, Dark Brotherhood stuff, this is really nice because it reduces your detection radius and lets you just lockpick things right in front of guards and they can't even see you, even if you're like 1 meter away from them. This combined with other sets. For 250k, Ring of Sheer Venom, which gives a nice little dot when you use executability. I do actually recommend this set for PvPers who just want to be working off a beam proxy set build. The nice thing with this is that you can control when you afflict somebody with it with the executability, and it's not a bad dot. Hem Justice Ring as well. I'd probably not recommend this. When you're in 28 meters of an enemy you're in combat with and the enemy dies, you get Major Berserk. There's other sources of Major Berserk out there. It's really not that great anymore. I know that some people used to use this with Vicious Death, but given the fact you have to be right on top of somebody with this with 28 meters, I probably not recommend it. For 100k, you can also get Melba Scourge's Arm Cops or Pyro Arm Cops. I'd recommend skipping both of these. These aren't meta sets here, and it's better off just gambling the keys if you want them. Anyway, I'm Hero of None. That's the Mundus Minute. Still on Tamriel. Reminder, we're also on Twitch. Follow me at twitch.tv/Hero of None. See ya.